Now, South Korea is one of America's top allies in Southeast Asia. But now President Trump says he's substantially scaling back joint military exercises with South Korea. Why? Well, because of what he calls his very good relationship with the North Korean leader Kim Jong Un. In a social media post, Mr. Trump said that he was not happy with what he described as the costly annual drills and had instructed the US Secretary of Defense to reduce them. Well, President Trump justified his comments by saying Pyongyang had been unthreatening and respectful while he'd been in office. That's despite North Korea's repeated missile tests and involvement in the war in Ukraine. Pyongyang has accelerated efforts to expand its nuclear and missile programs since the collapse in 2019 of Jong Un's high-profile diplomacy with Trump during his first term in the White House. The US president also noted that South Korea had declined to join US talks on Iran. Seoul's defense ministry says the exercises have now begun. Our Seoul correspondent Jake Won has more.
Well, this is not something we heard for the first time. After the first time meeting with Kim Jong Un, President Donald Trump has said that abruptly the joint exercise with South Korea will be suspended. He called it war game that is provocative. He said stopping this exercise will save the United States tremendous amount of money at the time. And we were all very much shocked because for South Korean people, this joint exercise, it is very much core to the alliance that South Korea has with the United States. This is done nearly every year. But President Donald Trump has suspended it in 2018. It was suspended again the next year, and then following years because of the COVID-19 before it was back up to the previous level. And this time he is saying it that he has enjoyed great relationship with Kim Jong Un. But it is difficult to know exactly how or why he believes that, because on the surface, at least, we haven't seen any, exchange between the two leaders. North Korean leader and American leader has not met since 2019. And we have seen very little correspondence between them. So, I think it is very unclear exactly what led him to post this on social media.
And so the military exercises are now underway, arguably scaled back on the US point, on the US part. In terms of South Korea's comments, any reaction to this?
Well, I think there's some careful, optimistic reading of the social media posts. We just heard from the Blue House, this is the South Korea's presidential office, which has been really pushing President Trump to re-engage North Korea. They saw that he has been busy with Middle East and Ukraine and Venezuela. They have been asking him to play the peacemaker role, engaging North Korean leader in talks. But this is not the way they probably saw it going. From the post, it almost suggests that he is punishing South Koreans for not joining him in his effort with Iran, and that this is somewhat in response to that. He's also pointing out that South Korea, characterizing it as almost a bad ally who is not doing its fair share of the military burden. So I think this is a bit of a mixed message for South Korea to hear.
And a mixed message in terms of North Korea, because President Trump describes them as being unthreatening and respectful, and that's despite Pyongyang's repeated missile tests.
Exactly. I think Pyongyang right now is having the most confident time as ever. He is sending, more than 10,000 troops to Russia to fight the Ukrainians. He has not stopped any of the weapons development. He is probably, getting back billions of pounds in response to what he's been selling the Russians. His troops are learning how to use drone warfare very effectively. This is just something that Americans and South Koreans do not have. So from the outsider's perspective, the North Korean threat seems to be growing, larger than ever. So it is difficult to explain how this, the scaling down of the joint exercise, which is supposed to kind of defend against North Koreans with the South Koreans, should come at this time.
Jake Won there in Seoul.